And that is the key to maintaining sky-high motivation. So as you progress with your health and fitness goals, your motivation is only continuing to grow over time rather than dealing with these huge ups and downs, which is fucking with your consistency and ultimately holding you back from the results that you want to see. Hey, welcome to our mini training series. My name is Greg Sutton. I'm the head coach and co-owner of Evolve to Excel Nutrition and Performance. And through my career as an online nutrition lifestyle coach, working with over 1,000 clients worldwide, one of the most common things that we hear from clients when they're just getting started with us is that they're struggling with motivation. They feel like if they had just a bit more motivation, that would be the key to them achieving their long-term goals. And if you can relate to this, I want to reassure you that you're in the right place by watching this video. But here's the good news. We have proven behavior change tools that you can use to maintain sky-high motivation, leading you to show up more and be way more consistent with your goals so you can avoid those huge ups and downs in your motivation that ultimately is destroying your progress. When it comes to motivation, we have two main camps. We have extrinsic motivation and intrinsic motivation. Long story short, extrinsic motivation means that we're motivated to do or not do something from an external source. Like if you're motivated to get in better shape because you're wanting attention from someone, or if you're motivated to make changes to your diet because of that upcoming vacation or wedding. And not all forms of extrinsic motivation are necessarily bad, because some can be quite good, like how it can relate to our identity and such. But that is moving a little bit closer on the scale towards intrinsic motivation. Now let me explain why we don't want to mainly be extrinsically motivated when we're working towards a goal, especially when we're working towards a long-term health and fitness goal. If I were mainly extrinsically motivated when working towards, just say, a weight loss goal, like focusing on the number on the scale, while I'm seeing those changes on the scale, while I'm seeing that number start to drop down, I'm going to feel amazing. I'm going to feel super motivated. But inevitably, the inevitable reality of when those changes start to slow down, or I'm going to start to see normal fluctuations on the scale, or maybe I'm going to encounter a busy, stressful period in my life, which makes it harder for me to follow through with the behaviors, with my diet, with my exercise, etc., that lead to those changes on the scale. That is when I'm really going to start to struggle with my motivation, because I'm not getting extrinsically motivated by seeing those changes, by seeing that drop on the scale. And those are the times when I'm going to benefit from being motivated the most. But when I'm extrinsically motivated by that number, that is when I'm going to be struggling with my motivation the most, which is what we don't want. Another prime example would be if I'm extrinsically motivated by an upcoming date, like a competition or a vacation or a wedding. And I'm sure that almost everyone watching this can relate to this. At least I can relate to this. How when we are working towards that date, whether it is a competition, wedding, whatever, we are so motivated. Your motivation is through the roof. But the second, and I mean the second, that date passes, our motivation just evaporates into thin air. And as we know, and as you've probably experienced, that motivation, that extrinsic motivation can be so powerful at times. And as I mentioned before, it's not always necessarily a bad thing, but it's not a good idea to mainly rely on motivation, a type of motivation that has a tendency to be so volatile. So let's talk about the other team. Let's talk about intrinsic motivation. So intrinsic motivation means that I'm motivated to do or not do something because it's an inherent interest of mine. It gives me tons of satisfaction to do or not do that thing because it makes me feel amazing. The motivation is coming from me. It's coming from inside of me, intrinsically. Now here's the important part, and here's why it's so important for us to focus on intrinsic sources of motivation when we're working towards long-term health and fitness goals. When you follow through with your nutrition, your exercise, your hydration, your overall self-care, your health and fitness goals, it feels good. It doesn't just feel good because you feel accomplished and you feel proud that you followed through with that goal. It also physically feels good. Higher energy levels, better digestion, less brain fog, less headaches, more mobility, stronger. There are so many different things. The list just goes on and on and on. So as you continue with those behaviors, you feel better and better and better. And if you're able to bring more mindfulness and more awareness to that, your motivation only continues to build over time as you feel better and better from those changes that you've made and maintained. It's like a positive snowball effect. You feel good, so you're motivated to continue with the changes that you made. You feel even better, so you feel more motivated to maintain those changes that you made. You feel amazing, so your motivation is sky high to continue with those changes that you've made. And because you're paying more attention to how your actions and inactions make you feel, it's also going to be so much more obvious when you do something that makes you feel like crap. So you're not just going to be way more motivated to continue with the things that make you feel good, you're going to be way more motivated to avoid those things that make you feel like crap. And that is the key to maintaining sky-high motivation. So as you progress with your health and fitness goals, your motivation is only continuing to grow over time rather than dealing with these huge ups and downs, which is fine with your consistency and ultimately holding you back from the results that you want to see. Now, this all makes sense, but how do we apply this? How do we put this into action? I want you to think about a situation where you feel like you often struggle with motivation. There aren't many obstacles, there aren't many barriers against you, but in that moment, you feel like you struggle with pulling the trigger and following through with that goal. In that moment, stop and take a few seconds to think about how your current actions or inactions are going to make you feel later. So let's just say you're in a situation where you don't feel super motivated to follow through with your nutrition goals. Like you're sitting at a restaurant, you have that menu right in front of you, and you're just about to order something. Stop and ask yourself, how are my current actions or inactions going to make me feel later on? How do I want to feel immediately after this meal? How do I want to feel tonight? How do I want to feel waking up tomorrow morning? Let the answers to those questions guide your decision making in that moment and boost your motivation to follow through with the actions or inactions that are going to lead you to feel your best later. Now, let's just say you're juggling to go to the gym or not. How do you want to feel later? How are you going to feel later if you don't go to the gym? How are you going to feel walking out of the gym after you just completed that workout? How are you going to feel tomorrow waking up knowing you didn't go to the gym yesterday? The more that we do this future self-thinking, the more motivated we're going to be to follow through with the actions or inactions that are going to lead us to feel our best. Many of the behavior change tools that we talked about today, I learned from completing my HMCC certification. So be sure to check them out for all things mindset and behavior change, but especially if you're a coach in the nutrition and fitness industry, check them out. I really hope that you enjoyed today's mini training and you're able to take something away from it and apply it to your evolving health and fitness goals. Comment any questions you have below and make sure you subscribe for future mini trainings and for all things nutrition, performance, lifestyle, and behavior change. And be sure to check us out on Instagram. All the details in the description below.